So we need to solve the engineering problem by using a Visual Basic program. So we need to follow these 5 steps to solve the problem. First, we need to have the solution planning based on the problem, and then the study of IPO, and then the interface design, and then the pseudocoding and the EBB coding. And then lastly, we have the program documentation. So our engineering problem is to determine the order of reaction, rate constant, and half-life of the substances given the concentration and the time.
Based on the problem given, we need to determine the order of reaction and calculate the half-life and the rate constant of the by using the data given, which are the time taken and the concentration. First thing we need to do is tabulate all the data in a table. The table will contain the time taken, concentration, concentration, and 1 per concentration. After that, we will draw the graph, which are the concentration versus time, or non-concentration versus time, or 1/concentration versus time. And the backfill line is drawn by using the formula of least square method. And if the backfill line is shown by the graph 1, which are the concentration versus time, then the order of the reaction will be the 0 order. And if the backfill line is shown by the graph 2, then the order of the reaction will be the first order, and it's shown by the graph 3, then will be the second order. After we know the order of the reaction, we can calculate the half-life and the rate constant. For the 0 order, the rate constant equation is the concentration equal to the original concentration minus the rate constant times time. And it's same like the equation of the graph, which is the x equal to y minus m gradient x. Then the rate of concentration, the rate constant is k, which means we can get from through the graph, which is the gradient of the graph, and the half-life is the time half-life equal to the original of the concentration over 2k. For the first order, the rate constant equation will be the ln concentration equal to the original concentration minus the kT, and the half-life the equation of the half-life is equal to ln 2/k. For the second order reaction, the rate constant equation is 1 the concentration minus 1 original of concentration equal to kT, and the half-life equation is equal to 1/k original concentration. So I am going to continue the IPO table here. As we can see, there is input and processing and output here. First, we need to insert the concentration and the time in, as there are 5 values of concentration and 5 values of the time as input. After that, we click the comment button, and we can get the ln A and 1/A. And then we use the least square method to find the gradient and the y-intercept here. Then we use this formula to find the rate constant and the half-life. And then lastly, we can get the final output as shown there, 1/A, ln A, graph of rate of reaction, order of reaction, rate constant, and the half-life.
Okay, so I am going to explain about the interface design. Level 1, the name of level 1 is LBR type, and the caption is time. The name of level 2 is LBR concentration, and the caption is concentration. The name of level 3 is LBR non-concentration, and the caption is non-concentration. The name of level 4 is LBR 1/concentration, and the name is 1/concentration. The name of level 5 is LVL value of y-axis, and the caption is value of y-axis. And the text box 1 until text box 5 are the array text box of time. Text box 1 is x0 and text box 2 is x1 until the text box 5, which is x4. These text box are used to insert the value of time in seconds. Text box 6 is text box 6 until text box 10 are the array text box of concentration. Text box 6 is y0. Text box 7 is y1 until the text box 10, which is y4. These text box are used to insert the value of concentration. Text box 11 until text box 15 are the array text box of non-concentration. Text box 11 is C0. Text box 12 is C1 until the text box 15, which is C4. And then these text box are used to show the value of non-concentration. Text box 16 until text box 20 are the array text box of 1 over concentration. Text box 16 is D0. Text box 17 is D1 until the text box 20, which is D4. These text box are used to show the value of 1 over concentration. Text box 21 until text box 25 are the array text box of value of y-axis. Text box 21 is Z0. Text box 22 is Z1 and until text box 25, which is Z4. These text box are used to show the value of y-axis. And then these are the properties of the text box and the label. The name of level 6 is LVL order, and the caption is order. And the text box 26 is the text box for order. Text box level 7 is LVL red constant. The caption is red constant, and the text box 27 is the text box of red constant. Level 8 is LVL half-life, and the caption is half-life. Text box 28 is the text box for half-life. And these are the command pattern for carbonate, raw, clear, and acid. This is the picture box that used to draw graph. And level 9 is LVL y-axis. And the example of y-axis are concentration, 1 over concentration, and concentration. And level 10 is LVL x-axis.
So before we do a coding, proceed with the further coding, the first thing that we want to do is to clearly declare the output to certain extent that we are interested. And before that, we will first input the option explicit, where it is a global declaration and global variable throughout the whole coding. And then usually in this coding, we use single and also integer as our output interest, where the output will show only 2 decimal places, while integer will never show decimal points. So this is the coding where we declare the output as the single and also integer, depends on the interest. And here, when we are done with the declaration, we will then calculate or convert our concentration, which is one of our inputs, into another two output that we are interested in, which is 1 over concentration and also ln concentration. So basically, this is the formula where the 1 over concentration, we just input the concentration, 1 divided by the value, the input value in the concentration part. And the result will, as our 1 over concentration, we just key in the function, which is 1 over concentration. And for the second part, for the ln concentration, we will first apply the function where the math.log and the input value of the concentration to the part. And these two is the coding where we convert our our concentration to 1 over concentration and also ln concentration, which will be further used in the order determination, rate constant determination, and also the plotting the graph, and also our determination of the half-life, which is the output that we are interested in.
And now we will be doing this EBB coding is to determine the rate of reaction, where x difference, we take the second x, which is, we name it as x1 and x0, we minus the difference, we get x difference, which is time difference, and then we take a variable, we put it as count equals to 0, let it as 0, and we declare gradient as single, where gradient equals to the y2 minus y1, which is the concentration difference, divided by the time difference, x difference, and after that we do a loop where we put initially I equals to 0 to n minus 1, where the first, where you see this line y equals to y bracket I plus 1, where our initially I equals to 0, that means our y1 equals to y1, where here it will be y1 minus y0, which is y1 over the x difference, the time difference, and then we set a gradient, the reference gradient, we times 1.15 to set the range, where it has to be more than, if it is more than the gradient times 1.15, and it is less than the gradient divided by 1.15, then our count, we add 1, we plus 1, and this will make the loop continue until we end the loop equals to y equals to 4, because we only have 5 values. So the next one, that one is for the 0 order, where this one is for first order, we use the ln concentration. The steps are the same, but we change from that one y2 minus y1, this one is c2 minus c1. The only difference is this, and the following step is the same. We use the same reference gradient, and then the count, we change the count to, just now is count is for the first, for the 0 order, and count 2 is for the first order, and then the next one is for second order. Second order we use count 3, and our 1 over we use is 1 over concentration. 1 over concentration we use D2, use D. So D2 minus D1 over X difference. So the following steps are the same, and it will stop the loop at D equals to 4.
Okay, now I'm going to explain about how to calculate the M and B value. First, we have to find the sum of the X value. Value of the x0, value of x1, x2, x3, and x4 we have to submit. And then we have to find the sum of the x square. X equal to 0, we have to square it until the x equal to 4. And then if the count is more than 2, then we have to sum the y value. Y equal to 0 plus y equal to 1, y equal to until y equal to 4. After that we have to sum of the x times the y value. X value of the x0 times with the value of y0 until the x equal to 4 and the y equal to 4. You have to sum it and plus. And then you show the order is 0 order. As if the count 2 is more than 2, then we have to sum the y value. The y value is ln y. Then c equal to 0 plus c equal to 1, c equal to 2, c equal to 3, and then c equal to 4. Then sum of the x times the y. X equal to 0 times the c equal to 0. Then we have to plus everything until the x equal to 4 and then c equal to 4. Then it will show the order is the first.
So, else if count 3 is bigger than 2, which means there are more than 2 gradients is within the range of the reference gradient, then the value of y-axis will depend on the value of the second order value, which is the 1 over concentration. So xy, which is the sum of y value, will be equal to d0 plus d1 plus d2 plus d3 plus d4. Okay, then next, xy, the sum of x times y value will be equal to x0 times d0 plus x1 times d1, and then until x4 times d4. Okay, until here we will end if. Okay, then we will find the gradient and the y-intercept of the graph using least square method. Okay, this is the formula of least square method. To find the gradient, we have number of data times the sum of x times y times y minus sum of x times sum of y, then divided by number of data times x squared minus sum of x squared. Okay, through this formula we can find the gradient, and then through this formula sum of y minus gradient times sum of x divided by n. Through this formula we can find the value of y-intercept. Okay, now we already have the value of gradient and the y-intercept. Okay, so we will use this formula. It is similar to y equals to mx plus c. We use this formula to generate a linear line. Okay, through using this for loop, we will have the z value which will follow the linear line.
So now this part of coding is to determine the rate constant and also the half-life. So now first we will declare the k as a single, and then if the text order is 0 order, then the k is equal to negative m. Since the gradient of the 0 of the graph, the m is equal to negative value, so we need to put a negative here in order to get a positive value of the k. So for the half-life equations, the b equals b over 2 multiplied by k. The b is equal to the NO, which calculate from the equation above. So if the text order is equal to first order, then k is equal to negative m. Because the gradient of the first order graph, the gradient is equal to negative, so we need to put a negative here in order to get a positive value of the k. So for the half-life equations, we put the math.log times 2 over k. This whole thing is equal to log 2 over k. So for the text order equal to second order, the k is equal to m. Since the gradient is already the positives, so we can directly use the m. For the half-life equations, b over k, b is equal to 1 over n naught. So we just put b over k.
Okay, I will explain about how to draw the graph. When we click on the command button, draw command button, then a graph will be shown in the picture box. And then first of all, we set all the x minimum, x max, and z minimum and z max equals to x0, x0, and z0, z0. Okay, and then we use the for loop method. And first of all, we set I equals to 1 and to I equals to 4, because we only have x1
x0 to x4. So when the x1, for example, we start from using the for loop method, we start from I is equal to 1 to I is equal to 4. And then if xi smaller than x minimum, which is 0, then x minimum will be xi. But xi will not smaller than x minimum because the time taken is always increased. So the x minimums will remain at 0. So if the xi is larger than x max, which is 0 also, and then x max will be x1. So the time x1 is 20. So for the first loop, the x max will be 20. And for the second loop, repeat the loop. So x2 larger than x max, then x max will be equals to x2. So for the second loop, 40 will be the x max, and so on. The third loop will be 60 for x max, and then for fourth loop, the x max will be 80. And then for the Z also, if the ZI smaller than Z minimum, which is the ZI is 120, smaller than Z0 150, then Z minimum will be 120. So for ZI is larger than Z max, then Z max will be the ZI. So for this case, it's not cannot be the Z max will always be 150 because the value is decreasing. So for the second loop, repeat the loop. The second loop Z minimum will be the 100, and then the Z max will also remain as 150. For the third loop, the Z minimum will be 80, and then for fourth loop, the Z minimum will be 60. So so we end up like the Z for first loop, fourth loop, we end up with the Z maximum is 80, and then Z minimum will be 60. So the graph will be negative gradient. And then this is for the extent. This is for us to extend the graph to become scaling the maximum or minimum point is 5% away from the axis of the picture box. So when the Z minimum 2 we set is Z minimum 2 is away from the Z minimum 5%, and then Z maximum 2 is away from the Z max 5%, and then X minimum 2 is away from X minimum 5%, and X max is away from the X max 5%.
We will talk about the scaling. We take the X max minus X max 2 to be the X axis, X point. That means we have X max and extend with the X max 2. So we X max minus X max 2 to get the negative value of the X. So there will be the origins. There will become the extend out from the left hand side. So the point of the X, the negative X max. So and the point for the Y is the Z max 2 until the negative X max, until the X max 2 and the Z minimum 2 at the right hand bottom.
So we will set the origin at the x0 and the z0. Then we will draw about the x-axis with the line x from the x minimum, z minimum point until the x maximum and the z minimum point with the x-axis. And the next we will draw about the y-axis, which from the x minimum, z maximum until the x minimum and z minimum to draw about the y-axis. So we will declare about the x2 and z2 as a single. We use the loop for I equals to 0 to n negative 1. So x2 will be a variable with x1 plus I plus 1. So we want to draw the line of the radians for the graph. So we will draw about x1, z1, negative x2, z2 with a red color line. So if x2 equals to x4, that means that the graph will ended at the number 4. So there will be axis when the I equals to 3. So when the graph is the 0 order, then the label y caption will become the concentration at the graph y-axis. So if it's the first order, then the label y caption in the graph will be long concentration. If it is the second order, the LBL y caption in the graph will be 1 over concentration. So in the command button for the clear, x0 will be ... x1, x2, and all of the buttons will become ... That means that they will become clear. Include picture, x, y, c, d, z column, picture 1, label, y-axis captions, text order, text weight constant, text half-life will become clear. Thank you.
Now I will talk about documentation. First of all, I would like to test the programming with a second order reaction. So first, we will need to enter the input of the time and concentration. Then, we click the calculate command button. So then, the output of the lone concentration, concentration value of y-axis, and also the order rate constant half-life will be produced. So this shows that it was second order reaction. Then click the draw command button. So after that, the unit of y-axis will be shown and the graph is also drawn. Then click the clear button. So after that, all the input values and all the output values are clear. So that's all.
So we will show how to use our program. Okay. First of all, we will show the example of 0 order. And now we will input the time and concentration data. First is the data, the time. So we input 5 of the time. And then we input the concentration. We click the calculate command button, and then we will get the output, which is the long concentration for this column, and then 1 over concentration for this column, and the values of y-axis, which is the value of the best fit line, and the order will be shown, which is 0 order, and the rate constant will be calculated, which is 0.025 for this data, and the half-life. And then we will click the draw button to show the graph. And the graph shown will have the axis concentration over time.